I got money on my mind. I'm just trying to get some dough. I ain't picking up my line unless it's money on the phone.
I kind of want to get into you. You wrote a book.
Yeah.
I want to talk about how did that come about and what exactly is in the book.
Yeah, so I wrote a book called 10 Reasons Why You're Living Senseless. Wrote that back in 2017 too. And pretty much it was the biggest thing was kind of like giving, I've always been a good saver, being able to, keep my money, not really spending on much stuff. But know a lot of people don't. And my biggest thing was give 10 reasons why, where your money's going, and then just try to give them actionable tips of how they could do better. And the biggest thing is really like you just got to sacrifice, even if it's temporarily. Sacrifice your friends, sacrifice, going out partying, sacrifice, even if, you might have to get roommates, you might have to go home, live with, and maybe that's not a good situation, but some things you got to sacrifice. You're someone that likes designer clothes, either don't do it or go to certain places where they don't cost as much. You at least at the minimum getting that secondhand prices. You know what I mean? So yeah, and then one of the biggest things I like to put out in the book, and it was something that I learned myself, is what I call the money jar method, where you have maybe like 6 quote unquote jars, and these can be like 6 different bank accounts, right? And you kind of direct deposit your money into different accounts. So like one account could be specifically for bills, another account could be specifically for entertainment, another account be specifically for like your loans, education, long-term savings. And so have a percentage for how much money go into each one and let that thing go. And if you do, and if you're in a job that has direct deposit, now it's out of sight, out of mind, and it's automatically doing it. And now no more human nature for you to try to touch things and change this and, oh, this is going to happen. So I kind of introduced a lot of, like I said, actionable stuff that people can use to actually really, really change that around, so that, they can get to a point where they either start a business or start getting to a point where they can start investing. You know what I mean? So that's really the biggest thing, try to get more income.
Man, that piece about the budget on autopilot, that's something we love. We actually talk about in our book too, managing money like the 1%. Had to pull it up real quick. Y'all get that. But yeah, no, like that idea is so simple, but it can save so many people whenever it comes to personal finance. It's like just by like putting some percentages on your money. Cause like everybody think you gotta have a bunch of money to do this shit.
Right.
Just putting percentages on it, looking at how you spending it and allocating it in different buckets will save you so much of a mental headache. And that other piece, that setting them on auto pay, setting your bills on auto pay with that shit, your life become a whole lot less stressful. But also
even if you start off with $50 a month, you blow $50 doing all like $50 a month, you ain't gonna die. You go find out what you could give up $50 a month. I don't care how poor you are. You could put away $50 a month. You know what I mean?
You could find a way. I know, like with me investing, it started off just as like Acorns, like a bullshit ass app, like Acorns, putting $5 a week away. Like anybody can do that. Anybody. Right. But we did kind of pass over something with BlackSeed that I want to go back to, bro. And it was that after y'all, I'm not sure if it was after or it was still during while the fund was the stock club was open. You decided to take those same principles and apply them to real estate too. So right. Can we talk about that group and how that one kind of works?
Yeah. So whenever I did that, I waited. I was like, all right, this is working for the stock club. Let me try this with real estate. And obviously, real estate is more so my jam in a sense. So, kind of did the same situation. Looking to purchase a property. Would like to have people put their money in, and we'll own a piece of property. You get a small percentage, and what happens is I was able to get a certain amount of money, and once again, people that never would have been able to buy their own property, now they're having a equity share, a true equity share in a home. I was able to find a house out in Memphis through my boy Brandon Jones, and we bought the property straight up out cash. It was already renovated, already had a tenant inside, and it was Section 8. So you're getting guaranteed money from the government. You know what I mean? Or you really didn't have to do much work to the home. And shoot, like if everything was going well, like in the 4-year time frame, all the house the house is paid off, but you recoup your initial investment of the home, and you're scot free going forward. You know what I mean? So yeah, we ended up doing that. We purchased that home about April of last year, and still going strong with that house. One of the things I wanted to do, like once that happened, because the minimum investment that was like $2,500. And the one thing that I did learn doing things with like the investment club and even this one, I was like, I got to stop doing small stuff. If I'm going to do a headache, I need to do it on a much bigger scale. So that's when I ended up doing the BlackSeed Revitalization Fund, where that minimum was $20,000, and with that is the intent is to raise like $5 million, and the intent is literally invest in the inner city neighborhoods of Memphis and Houston, buy these homes for cheap, fix them up, put them on Section 8, and then now you're not forcing out people that are in that community. It gives them a chance to have be a little bit profitable where they're living. They might be on a Section 8, but if they're a little bit more profitable about where they're at, they can, get better jobs and things of that nature. And, just kind of like slowly sparking the change of what's going on around there. But at the minimum time, you ain't pushing them out. And that's one of the biggest things I wanted to, say that, yeah. And then on top of that, even if it wasn't Section 8, right? Like the type of homes that, we will be getting in, they're so low that it's recession proof. Like the investment is there. The only thing with it is like say if you were an investor, you're not seeing your money immediately because we are rehabbing a lot of these homes. You know what I mean? So on a back end is really where, you really see the investment, because for one, the houses for the most part will be owned outright. And then things like appreciation will most likely happen. But even with that, in the meantime, because this was going to be like between a 5 to 8 year time frame, you're collecting all this cash flow that's coming in, and then when you finally sell, boom. So that because with the BlackSeed Revitalization Fund, it was a 6% preferred return annually. And then 70-30 split between 70% of the profit if we do sell a house, or whatever it was, it will go to the investors, and 30% will go to me and my management team. And from there, like a lot of people, they hear that 6%, like I can make that, this and that, but it's like that's just a small piece. You're not thinking about the back end, where once we sell some of these properties, that 6% jumps to honestly 28-30%, possibly
now
more.
you're getting cashed out on your equity.
Exactly. So yeah, and so I started this thing kind of pretty much around COVID. So COVID kind of like took it back, kind of ruined that. But 2021, I tried to get back out there, kind of like pitch it again, and see if I get some investors. Once I'm able to raise 100K, I can start investing in homes. And I think once that starts happening, people see how this is really operating, and more investments start coming in.
I love it, man. And I kind of want to ask, like with that initial, when you was just taking people for $2,500, were you dealing with a lot of people who didn't have an understanding of equity? Like, so whenever it came to the part, because I'm just thinking about it, it's a house. If you got a few, like 10 people put up $2,500, the cash flow each month from that is almost negligible for each individual.
Right.
But like, how did you walk them through that process, bro?
Yeah. So the thing is, because it was such a low amount of money, that I let them know up front, like, don't expect a big dividend. You know what I mean? Like, even with this, like once we bought the house, I haven't paid out any dividends because we're allowing the reserves, in a sense, to build back up. And the thing is, just like once these reserves build back up, shoot, if we see another property, we might just put in and use that and then buy another property. That way, the spreads start getting a little bit bigger. But you're right, like one house splitting it between like 9 and 10 people, isn't the numbers ain't really there. But what you're doing is, for me, it's always about the habit and the mindset. Half of those people never invested in the house before. Now they have equity and they can say that they have a house. You know what I mean? So it's more so of this is what I'm doing versus this is the best investment for, you know, the best investment ever kind of thing. And like I said, that's why I was like, all right, you know, at a smaller scale, it doesn't really make sense to keep doing like that. But if I could get 10 people at 20,000, that changes the game a lot. And I can leverage that money, you know, in a bigger way. So
the last thing I want to get into is you have a clothing brand for sports clothing brand, and also you just got into seeing you got into supplements. How did that come about, and how's that going for you?
My man got people feeling limitless.
Yeah. So with Phoenix, I actually started that in 2018. And it just kind of like started with, you know, everybody's rocking Adidas, Nike, Puma, all this other stuff. Like, man, I want to rock my own stuff. You can tell now I'm very big on ownership. So, you know, I wanted to have my own thing, and started that whole process. You know, sourced a lot of my material and made sure it was very high quality. And one of the things I learned was it really doesn't matter how high quality, you know, product that you have if people aren't buying it. So you need to kind of like get it out in front of people, make sure like there's a buzz going on about it. You have the right influencers pushing it. You know, one of the mistakes I did earlier on was I bulk ordered a crazy amount of stuff. So I had joggers, I had leggings, I had sports bras, I had all this stuff, but it was just sitting here. So I'm thinking I was about to sell this if they got like this, you know, move on. Like, nah, it wasn't like I was an influencer to be pushing it on a massive scale like that. So for the longest, it took me a while to sell out, sell the clothing on the bulk order. And so what I learned is, and I kind of like implemented it whenever I started my beard care line, is start with one product. Start with one product, make sure that does well, and then you can start branching out from there, because you don't want to waste too much money if it's not going to work that way. So all that to find out, apparel industry in a sense is already hard as it is. It's already hard as it is. So I'm chugging along. And then last month, so when it comes to ads, I really didn't know too much about it. I tried it, didn't really work out. I've hired an ads person, or for Phoenix, didn't really work out. But what kind of changed for me was with my Zion, the beard care brand. We hired this guy to run Facebook ads, and the ads were converting. It wasn't converting at a crazy scale, but they were converting. So I was like, okay, finally something that makes sense. And it was for our gummies. Yeah, these gummies, right? These are our best selling products for Zion. And for whatever reason, some random ad of me doing this literally, and with me having like the gummies in my hand, was doing fairly well. Mm-hmm. So I'm like, this is working for gummies with supplements, and their ads are running. So I was like, man, I think I could do this with supplement with Phoenix, like have these supplements here, these multivitamins, turmeric and all this other stuff. It's like, I think I could sell it. So I had limitless focus, and I just started literally. I want to say I launched it late November, like maybe November 20th or so, around like Black Friday timeframe. And that has been a game changer, bro. Game changer. Like, the right people on, Twitter have pushed it, trusted voices in the community. And from there, like a lot of people started buying it. And you know what it is, like, once people start seeing it, like, what's going on? Let me try this out. Everybody has that hype, and, a lot of sales started coming through. And then, people are having positive reviews, especially for the limitless focus. That, positive reviews are coming in. And from there, once the reviews start coming in, that helps me out. And so that allows me, all this traffic coming in. Now all the Facebook ads are getting retargeted to them, to the people who maybe didn't buy before, but a week later they might buy it because people are still talking about it on the timeline, and they're seeing it when they're scrolling through social media. So yeah,
and once they actually go to the page, they get to see people left reviews and
right.
Like, hey man, I'm fucking with this.
Right. And once that happened, man, Like I said, I have not experienced this before, but if I can have a few more months like this, it'll be a very, very, very big game changer. So I'm actually so Limitless Focus is definitely my best selling product through Phoenix so far. I honestly think so. I'm about to come out next week with apple cider vinegar gummies, and I think that will give Limitless a run from his money from like the outer frame of just like the Twitter network and stuff, because it was crazy because I seen this other brand, it's actually called Goalie, and I'm like, apple cider vinegar gummies, that's literally the only product, and they're selling a shit ton of it. So I'm looking at their page, market research, right?
Yeah.
Seeing what's going on with them. Man, I saw they was on the Ellen DeGeneres show. I was like, oh yeah,
It's a whole wave.
it's a whole. So like once you get on the show, you're golden. And so they, obviously the sales have been running there from there. And so now they've been pushing through affiliates. So they have people pushing it for them. Obviously they have their bigger ambassadors kind of like pushing it too. And so I was like, well, shoot, let me implement what they're doing. So I just launched my own affiliate program last week. So hope to see that start kind of like coming in soon. A lot of, especially right now, USPS has been tripping.
Flaky, man. They've been flaky, dog.
So, like I said, a lot of orders have been coming in late. I had to resend out orders, and customer service is big for me. So, even if USPS either say that they delivered it and, the people say they didn't, or, because they either didn't deliver it or they delivered it at the wrong mailbox, or just have it saying late, So I was just like, well, I want you to try this product. Obviously, you're seeing what, the hype about it on the timeline. Let me go ahead and, send you out a new bottle. I expect to see another surge of kind of like people posting the reviews about it here in these next couple of weeks. So now that I have, these new products I'm coming out with, the apple cider vinegar gummies, the turmeric gummies, emergency support pills, and the ashwagandha, I think I have a nice little foundation to kind of like go forward in 2021 and really, take Phoenix to a new level. So we'll see how it goes. I'm really hopeful for it. This 1 month in the supplement game has been fantastic. I just hope I can continue to push it hard, because right now it's been a lot of word of mouth, a lot of stuff through brand ambassadorship. But I think if 8 ads, that can definitely triple the rate of return. So I'm trying to see the best way to get around that.